Hey guys, Rebel95, recording live from the local county prison cell. I know I've been on a bit of a hiatus, but if you guys have noticed, there's a certain event going on in the world that, for the sake of not dating this video, I guess I won't bring up by name. Also, I don't want to get demonetized, not that I ever really cared about that. But it's affected me as much as anyone, not as much as anyone, but it's affected me. And, so my schedule's not as, I'm not really available to just do stuff like this as much. So, anyway, but here I am, and let's get into let's do another, analysis. So, today I've got one that I've actually skipped over one that I decided to cancel, so this one was actually next in line. It's Hellboy from Dark Horse Comics and Devilman from, well, the Devilman franchise, I guess by this point. There's been what, like four, if you count the manga, 4 or 5 different incarnations. So, essentially this idea spawned from wanting to have a character to fight either of these two, and I just said, well, good enough. I mean, there's a ton of, early 60s, 70s, uh, you know, uh, like anime characters that just kind of got revitalized over the years. I could have put. I've wanted to do a video. I think I did what Kashan and I meant to do Kashan and 8 Man. I think. And then later down the line, I'm like, maybe I should do Kashan and Cyborg 009. But that's not the point. Couldn't find a good fight for Hellboy that I liked. And this one, I guess, is the closest one I could do. So, but I mean, this is by no means a bad fight. And funny enough, the mangakyo of, or mangaka, whatever the fucking, the artist, fucking America, come on, it's the artist for Devilman and the artist for Hellboy actually had a collaboration not too long ago. So this is also kind of thematic for that. Um, so Hellboy, he was meant to be kind of like the herald of the apocalypse. He's meant to be the harbinger of the end for humanity. But as luck would have it, he was kind of spawned in a church. He was brought from hell into a church. So he was raised to he was raised to not do that. So he kind of got raised to end up fighting demons instead. So this ended up being really so this, he's kind of fought alongside soldiers in the he's a detective technically, but he's fought alongside, cops, soldiers, whatnot. And part of that's due to his, demon physiology giving him superhuman strength, superhuman healing factor, enhanced durability, um, resistance to, things like, temperature, hot and cold. Um, he also has a gun called the Good Samaritan, which is just a big ass gun, really. But when I say strength, I mean this guy's been able to like throw trees, throw cars. He's been able to, you know, punch giant demons and knock them out. He's been able to durability. He's been able to, he's like almost bulletproof. It still hurts, but and it still like leaves marks and but everything. But he's not getting deeply penetrated by bullets. So it's not really a threat. He's taking machine gun fire to the chest. And then the occasions that he does get severely hurt, he does have an accelerating healing factor, so he's able to recover from, what would be fatal injuries in, usually a matter of minutes. Um, and then also part of his demon, he realizes that, you know, they didn't just send any demon up to, bring the apocalypse. They sent somebody very special who just happened to be kind of repressing his demon powers. So when Hellboy, kind of, after, triggering the transformation a couple of times, he's learned to go into his true form at will, where, his horns grow out and everything. And he's also able to, he gains a lot of abilities from this. He's able to, generate hellfire. He's able to, not like shoot electricity, but he's able to like make lightning fall from, like, he's able to control lightning, as in the phenomenon of lightning. He's able to make lightning strike somebody forcibly. He's able to manipulate his size. He can grow giant. Um, and then there's the right hand of doom, which not only is just a giant gauntlet that can punch really, really hard, it also allows him to open up the gates, like open up the ground and open the gates of hell. So both of these characters, in some form or another, have been to hell in some part of their series or franchises. So they should be able to, so that shouldn't be like necessarily uh, a terrain advantage for either of them. But just having a giant fist that lets you open up, like, let's take this fight into hell real quick. That's pretty cool. Now let's go on to Devilman. So I forget the guy's name. I think it's Akira or whatever. I don't know. No, yeah, Akira. Yeah, Akira is the kid, and Akira was I guess possessed is kind of a weird wrong word for it, but he was kind of possessed by Amon, who's considered like the hero of the demon world. Okay, and he basically took Amon's body, or a body very similar to Amon in one case, um, and was able to become the hero that he referred to as Devilman. So with this ability, with this new body, he was able to he's able to fly. He can generate wings and fly. He can um he can tear humans apart or demons apart, just with his bare hands. He gains incredible enhanced speed, strength, the whole package. He also has an incredibly impressive healing factor, to the point where he's, been punched like through his abdomen, he's had his throat ripped out, he's been, he's had limbs cut off. In the case of something like that, he usually needs to consume flesh in order to reheal it, whether it be human or demon flesh. And in the case that he does that, he just grows the limbs right back, or he just, his stomach hole just refills. Um, he's had several other powers. He's had blades that can come out of his arm. He's had like laser beams in some cases. He's had tendrils that he can like force on you and then electrocute you with. Most of these abilities are taken from like other demons that he's killed before and kind of like ate them and then incorporated them into his powers. Um, I believe he has, in some canons he has like psionic abilities, like he can like move you around with his mind, or at least like not move you around, but like create like a shockwave with his mind. um so how do I think this fight's gonna go? I This is tough to call because of the similarities between them. I mean, both have all the enhancements, both have all of the healing, and then they both have the like big, elemental based attacks. I think where the advantage falls into is probably experience, because Hellboy's been doing his job for 60 plus years fighting demons. And I mean, Akira's fought, some of the most impressive demons in the world, or in his universe, but A, he doesn't win a lot, or he wins, but he like barely wins most of the time. He gets like torn the fuck up most of the time. And B, he has a lot of like kind of depending on the incarnation, he has a lot of uh exploitable weaknesses. In some case, like, so this is one of those fights where it would depend on which sources they heavily drew from. If they were doing just from Crybaby, then that's because it's the most modern one. That's probably I. He doesn't have most of the abilities. He doesn't have a lot of like the elemental based attacks. He doesn't have the eye beams. He doesn't have the electric tendrils. He's just really really strong and flies, which puts him at a severe disadvantage. But if you were to use something like not Amon of Apocalypse, but the other '90s one or '80s or '90s, I think it was the '80s, the one in the '80s, he's actually susceptible to electricity. Like it can stunt his it can like stunt his and revert his transformation if used against him. So something like being able to call down lightning to strike him would have a a tremendous effect again. Again, Hellboy wouldn't know that, but he would be probably using the lightning on him anyway. So I don't see why it would just have a better effect than Hellboy thought it would. Um. Also, but if we go to like the Cyborg 009, versus Cyborg 009 version, where he's fast enough to keep up with Cyborg 009, which would make him like Mach speed essentially. He's generating electricity from his body, whereas where the tendrils things come in, and that immunity or that weakness to electricity isn't there. So it would depend on where they go with it. Um, but still, regardless of that, I feel like Hellboy just carries a much bigger advantage in like experience and just in like magnitude of power. Like once Hellboy starts using demon magic, it stops becoming like a fight between two demons and starts becoming like, you know what I mean? It's like because he can like do all this crazy shit with demon magic, and even with all these extra abilities that weren't in Crybaby, he'd still be limited compared to that. So I just think in like magnitude of their more special abilities, Hellboy can like Hellboy's defeated like entire demon armies with his magic. Not like just by himself, but like once he starts using demon magic, he can just envelop an entire army in flames and shit. So it really is like a different caliber of abilities once he goes into that form. So I'd say like up until the point where Hellboy transforms, this is probably a really good fight. Nakata could probably win, but once Hellboy transforms, I think it's over at that point. And he would know how to pick a spot because of the experience. Plus, like if he's spent 60 years fighting demons, he's gonna know how to fight a demon, even if the demon's half human, or a human who can transform into a demon. So I give this fight pretty comfortably to Hellboy. Yeah. So I'll try to get videos out whenever I can. If I can do another one this week or another one after Gray as Death, I'm gonna try to do the Gray as Death video, obviously, or the whatever the next fight after that is, and then I'll maybe try to do another one that week or the week after. But this is gonna be a slow kind of ride until things get sorted out. But anyway, Verbal 95. See ya.